Hey everybody, this is Nexia here. This is part 2 of a 2-part series on the Luna game series. If you haven't seen part 1, I will link it up above in the top right corner of the screen. So let's move into what happens in all the bonus content. Luna Game 5 Fanmade version. A fan-made addition to the series was submitted on February 29th. 2012. The game starts out like any Luna game, with you in control of Luna and a bit of text telling you to hold shift to run. Everything begins as bright and cheerful with happy music, specifically Eurobeat Brony's remix of Call Upon the Sea Ponies. After running around for a while, you run into Angel Bunny. Once you get up close to him, a Metal Gear Solid style exclamation point and sound plays, and he runs off. At this point you move to the next room over. It is now nighttime and the music changes to another fairly cheerful but slower song, Luna's Anthem. Here, in this level, you have to jump around the platforms and collect 9 rabbits. While getting these rabbits, you will come across a pit which is covered from the top, so that you can't fall into it. Once you collect the 8th rabbit, this pit will be open. You have to make your way over to it and jump in. Once down the pit, you run into another rabbit, this time colored red instead of white. Here's where things get creepy. Once you collect this 9th and final rabbit, the cheerful music halts, and a passage to another room is opened, with Pinkie Pie's silhouette standing in the doorway. Upon entering, a dark red sky and a number of other shadow ponies can be seen roaming about. As you start to walk, the crying of a Left 4 Dead witch can be heard. Static will flicker as creepy music plays. This background static will light up the pony silhouettes to reveal their Zalgofied features, but this lasts only a split second each time and is completely random, unless you use the Easter egg described below to trigger it yourself, so you can't get a good look at them. In order from left to right, the shadow ponies are Blinkie Pie, who will say, "Mommy, where are you? I can't see." Twilight Sparkle, who disappears after the first flash, but if you use the Easter egg to trigger another flash quickly enough, you'll see that she's actually just falling off the south end of the screen. Derpy Hoofs, who will say in black lettering, "Help us, please," and Lyra Heartstrings. You walk further and further into this creepy landscape, past numerous shadows. Pretty soon, the audio will begin to shift from creepy music to sounds that are animalistic in nature. They can be best described as rabid eating noises. Once you reach a certain point, the camera scrolls on its own, not as you move, and you have to run to keep up with it. When at the bottom, you're given the impression that something is about to happen. Should you stop or go left, causing the camera to completely pass you, doing this is pretty much suicide, you are confronted with a hyper-realistic Pinkamena screamer. The sound effect is the same as from Luna Game 3, when Luna is a screamer, and the game closes. When you go to the right, you will reach a room with an oversized Pinkie in the middle. It looks normal, but will turn darker, and then fade into a Zalgofied version of the same picture. When this is finished, platforms will appear. Use them to jump into Pinkie's mouth. The screen will turn black, and the sound of something being eaten and swallowed, presumably you/Luna, will play. Next, Luna is in a maze, which is actually Gygas's lair from the video game Earthbound, even using the same background noise. She is trapped by Pinkamena, who will bring up doppelgangers. They disappear, and you have to go up to a larger space. In the orb in the center of the room, actually called the Devil's Machine in Earthbound, you see Nightmare Moon's head appear, followed by the words, "You know what you have to do." Proceed down until it fades to black again. When it returns to normal, you'll see Luna lying on the ground where you picked up the final bunny, except she's dead and bloodied like in Luna Game 3. There will be a black screen with the words, "You're next." After that, a Zalgofied Pinky pops up for a split second. The game closes as the CD tray opens by itself. Friday the 13th Extra Cutscene. If you change your system date to Friday the 13th, you will get a special, one-time-only cutscene in which Pinkamena faces Nightmare Moon. You can't do anything but watch, of course. Nightmare Moon reveals the reason she killed Pinky, saying that a party doesn't make up for 1,000 years of suffering. Pinkamena is scared and tries to talk some sense into the princess, but to no avail. Then, Nightmare Moon breaks the fourth wall. Shh! Someone is listening. It shortly cuts back to the two ponies, only to end in a screamer. A bloody Scootaloo, along with the line, "Leave this place." The game then closes itself. Other Easter eggs. Pressing the I, K, and T keys all at the same time will trigger one of two Easter eggs, depending on what part of the game you're in. If you do this before the game turns creepy, you'll trigger a Zalgofied Pinky Screamer from one of the randomly chosen screamers in Luna Game 3, and the game will close. If you press them in the third room, the one with the red sky, the background static will play again, which can be used to reveal a Pinky sprite staring at the screen, or an Ursa Minor just before the chase starts. After you enter the room with the giant transforming Pinky, pressing the keys will do nothing. It is unknown why the creator of this game chose those specific letters for the keys. Using Alt plus F4 or Escape will close the game if you haven't progressed to the creepy part, which is strange considering that 5 is the first Luna game in which you could close out of the game yourself. However, if you try using Alt plus F4 in the third room, or later, the window will still close, but only for a few seconds. After that, it opens itself back up, and you can hear Pinkie Pie laughing at your failure. Using Escape after the game gets creepy will not close the game, but you will still hear laughing, though it's not the same laughing sound. You can also use Ctrl-Alt-Delete to close the window at any point in the game, but if you do it in the creepy half, a heavily distorted version of Fluttershy yelling, the same one from Luna Game 3, will play, though the game won't stop you from closing it. Regardless, you still won't be able to move your mouse cursor, so you'll have to use the arrow keys and Enter to select and end the program in your task manager. Other Luna games. The Lunar game. You start out as Luna in a grass field at night. Use the arrow keys to move and space to jump. Once you go down a pit, you cannot get out of it. Still, try moving and jumping around until the wall disappears. Move forward and you'll get a blue background saying, "And Luna lived happily ever after, and nothing scary happened, ever." No screaming sound will play. No music is heard during the gameplay. LONA'S GOEM 48. Unlike other Luna games, this one has a loading bar when it opens. When the game finishes loading, you appear on a grass field in the day. This is badly drawn. You pretty much move slow. Once you get far enough, you will encounter a Pinkie Pie screamer. Again, it is badly drawn, with an obviously edited out scream. After a few seconds, the game closes. Following. Since its wake, Luna game and its many sequels and variants have struck terror into the minds of their players. Even though the series doesn't merge itself with the real world like most other creepypastas, many regard it and its successors as creepypasta, most likely as a result of the series never crediting its sources, plus the fact that the author of the games has, through much effort, remained anonymous. Website. A summary and history of the series, penned by the original author, can be found here.